What's up, everyone? Bradley Jack Design here with another lovely day of streaming. Let me get these headphones to work because they aren't. I don't know why. I think if I turn Bluetooth off here, not drop my AirPods. All right. There we go. Okay. Now I can hear my lovely background music. No idea if these if this little viewer thing's gonna work. It is. We'll see if chat works. Test. Hey chat. I haven't gotten this chat thing to, oh, okay. So pop it up right there now, but we'll see how long that lasts. Today we're going to be making a Caleb Williams design. So I made a Justin Fields design. I got my Justin Fields jersey on. So I made this when he got drafted. Did jersey swaps, made this, printed some out for some fans. So we're gonna do the same thing now that we have actual photos of Caleb Williams in a Bears jersey that's not a practice jersey. So what we're gonna do, I've got set up already some photos to use. I think I have some rough cutouts done, but nothing set in stone. So let me pull those up. So I have all these images here. I'm just gonna drop them all into our workspace here. I'm working at 3000 pixels by 3750. That's a 4:5 ratio. This also gives me it to be 10 by 12 inches off the bat. I'm probably gonna make these 16 by 20s, but when we upscale it, it's not really gonna degrade the quality that much. And we're using smart objects, so it doesn't really matter anyway, because we're using smart objects. So let me move around here. Okay. So I'm not 100% certain how I want this to look. I do have an inspiration folder. Let me open up Bridge. See if that's gonna not destroy things. And it should go to my folder automatically. Great. So here's a bunch of stuff. There's a couple different ways we can go about this, and I'm not certain which way I want to go about it yet. I like the idea of doing something clean like that Justin Fields graphic I showed you guys, but also doing something like this that like Haney Design made, or like this one of Justin Fields. One sec. There. Something more cinematic, more photo manipulation, maybe a combination of both, kind of like this Charles Tillman graphic that I made. So photos of him, stuff with the city, stuff with Chicago. But then I also liked this graphic that Eli Corbett made, where it's him on like a building. So if we did like Willis Tower or Sears Tower and had some other stuff in the background with some photos, but we'll go back to that later and we'll figure this out. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to make sure some of these photos are cut out. So I've got this photo. This isn't the greatest photo of Caleb's face, but I figured it'd be good for like a silhouette. I really like using silhouettes and stuff. So like, let me go back here. Like this stuff USC did. They've got a cutout with stuff going on inside of it. There's another really good example in here, right here. So like silhouette of a player, scenery in the background, something with photo manipulation, but with sort of a thing around it. I do think I want it to be white. Like I like this. Found this on Pinterest. I like the white of this with the player on top. So we might do that. And the reason being also is I have images of Caleb in a blue jersey. So I want some contrast. So I've got a bunch of images here. There we go. I don't know which ones I want to use. There are a lot of them, which is why we could do some sort of collage with all of these. The ceiling is the sky for that, as Michael Jordan would say. Out of these, sort of the best images to use whenever I'm doing something like this, I'm thinking, you know, let's put these into groups. So he's looking to the right, but this is sort of a center image. This image actually isn't a good quality, so I'm going to delete that because I actually don't want to do that one. He's looking to the left here, and then these two images, he's looking to the right. So to me, these are sort of the same. We have an image looking to the right, we have a centered image, and we have an image going this way. Now, if we use this photo of him looking this way, I'm going to be more swaying to use these images on the right. I also have a couple images here I haven't cut out. Big, just, you know, center image here. And then this image as well, which is him looking to the right. And then a helmet, him in a helmet. So let me open up this one. I already edited these to a bit. I used some actions I have on my website. I use these sport actions a lot for stuff. I also have some separate actions I use for some very specific stuff, and I can't use the tool because I have it selected. So I'm going to cut this out real quick. I'm not going to use, I usually use this object selection tool, but for this I'm going to use
Quick Select.
Greatest tool in the world, Quick Select. We'll toss this up here. I'm just going to click and drag around what I want to cut out. I can hold down the Option key, which is going to give me another option for the tool. For this instance, it's Remove. And we'll cut it out. We don't need this down here. We'll just cut off where the helmet is. We can fix everything else a little bit later. I'm going to go up to Selected Mask, go in here, and paint around using this brush to refine this edge. I'm going to set the smooth up to like 4. I turned it down because I was cutting out his hair and I wanted it to be really, really crispy. But for this, we don't need that. I'm going to add this back in. And I'm just faking the funk to where stuff needs to be. Because we can always gen fill it later. Like we'll put this here. I think this might look cool if we sort of cut off. What I'm doing right now is I'm holding down the Control and Option key, which allows me to drag up and down and left and right to make my brushes harder or softer. That's something once you get used to, it makes it a lot easier than, you know, you can use the bracket keys to make something smaller or larger with the brushes, but I like to hold down the Control and Option key, which are the two keys farthest left on a Mac keyboard. The Option key would also be the Alt key on a PC, which should work the same. And that allows you to drag left and right to make a brush larger and smaller, and then up and down changes the hardness or softness of it. So this should be like a nice curve because it's a helmet, right? It comes in there, like it doesn't cut over like that. So like I'm just gonna fake what this should look like. No one's gonna know, it's fine. And then here, just kind of go like this. So we have a nice back edge to this. Or maybe we cut up like this. I'll just do that. It'll be easier to edit later. I don't know what's going on here. We'll just add a little firmness back to that. I could use the Refine Edge brush, which is this tool up here, which is R is the hotkey for that. But I like going in. This is how I like going in and cutting out my photos. Sorry. I get a general selection with Quick Select because it's just faster than using the pen tool. And then I can go in here and you can hold down the Shift key and it'll make a straight line. So if you have straight lines, you can just go in with the Shift key. I think I just like this way of cutting things out better. It works better for me. If you like using the pen tool, that's fine. If you're getting paid hourly, even better because it's going to take you longer to cut it out. And since we're working with something so small, it's not going to be that noticeable. And we can always fix the edge later. What I'm doing now is I'm going to go over here and cut around the edges of this. I'm looking at the right edge of this circle because it's kind of flat to put back in this curve. And this is where we might use the Refine Edge brush part of this. Is right here. So we don't need this orange part. We can actually grab this top tool and just hold down Option and click and drag around. And it's going to remove most of that orange for us. Then we can go back in with our brush and quickly tweak some of this. And I'm holding down the Shift key. It's just going to draw a straight line from each spot to the other, which is sort of a cheesing way of doing this. But I just want to make sure it actually has this all in here. Okay, so I'm going to hit Enter. I have in my settings under Selected Mask, if you go down to the bottom, the output down here, I have set to Layer Mask. So it's automatically going to mask it for me. So I'm going to save this. and go back. And now we have this weird helmet of Caleb Williams just floating. I think I'm going to sort of move it around like this. Maybe we add it somewhere. This looks kind of weird because he doesn't have a neck. Maybe we just use this as some sort of secondary area. I'm going to hide that for now. I don't know how good the quality of this image is. It's not great. It's a really good image, but it's not too solid on what I want, because I want to print this off. Also, what we can do is, let me pull up some asset websites I like to use. I like to use Envato. I like to use a website called Footage Crate, and I like to use a website called Unsplash. Unsplash. You just type it in right, it'll work. So like, if I want to do something cinematic, I can go here and look at Chicago, maybe Chicago Alley. You put him in something where there's obvious architecture that this is Chicago. He's in Chicago. Maybe he's in a setting. And that's why I wanted to look up like Willis Tower. Maybe we put Willis Tower somewhere. And I just typed Willis. Let me type Willis Tower. Let me type correctly first. Willis Tower, like this image and this image, I think I already downloaded. I just didn't do anything with them. So let's go back to Photoshop. We'll toss these in. So I have these two images of Willis Tower. I think this is a cool image. And this would be sort of piggybacking off of what Eli does here, where he has this cool image of a building. He's standing on a building. This is cool because it's at an angle, catches the eye. He's standing on a building. He's like Spider-Man. And then something in the background showing that it's Seattle because it's the Space Needle. And some other cool stuff in there. But this is sort of our general inspiration for what we want to do. Like I could do something full on like this, where we put some bears in a forest setting or in Chicago, something like that. Maybe maybe Soldier Field's behind it. Like I could steal the Soldier Field from here and put it in the foreground somewhere. But, you know, the sky's the limit to what we can do. I've got some other random stuff. Like, I like doing stuff like this. Like, I made this for Dayton 6 when Zkey committed, so. Silhouette, something behind it, people in the front. So I might want to start with that. I would love to use this photo of Caleb, but he's just kind of like chilling. Did I liquefy this? No, I might have. One thing we can do, and it might look really goofy, is we can go to liquefy. And if I pull the window over here, the liquefy has all these face-aware settings, which are really cool. And a lot of this is really cheesy, but if I want him to smile, I can sort of just boost this up to 100 and hit OK. And now he's kind of smiling. Sad, smiling. Doesn't really look like he's smiling. It's kind of weird, but I'm going to keep it on here just because we can. I'm going to turn that to a smart object. I'm going to use a lot of hotkeys. I have a hotkey keyed to my middle button here on my mouse. So if you followed me, you know there's a lot of things I like to do. One, I like the Chicago Bears. I'm a huge Bears fan, as you can tell with that. I've got Devin Hester game-worn jersey on my wall back here. So for this, I don't think I want to keep Caleb's face in this. So I'm going to go down and I'm going to give this a gradient overlay. This is like a default orange gradient they have. I'm going to hit OK on that, but look up the Bears hex code and steal that. So I'm going to go to this gradient overlay. And we're going to set this to be... Sorry, I'm not going to use a gradient overlay, and I'll tell you why. I'm going to use a... That's the wrong button. Color overlay. And set it to be that orange color. And then I'm going to duplicate this and set it to... Turn this to a smart object. Set that to overlay. For screen. Apply it to... Sorry, I need to turn these into smart objects. And then I'll take this one and I'll just mask it out. So now we have this nice gradient using the Bears colors that's going from bottom to the top. And this is just meant to be sort of a container. So which one of these photos would work best? I like this photo. Let's pull some of these up. So out of these photos, this one's actually pretty nice. So we've got his face going this way. If we wanted this to be similar to this, you know, in a lot of stuff I make, I like to make 3, 1, 2, 3, big guy, little guy, little guy. So let me put that down. It's it's contrast. So we go big to small, guy the eye here. You know, they're looking different ways. So how can we emulate that? So if he's looking this way, we need a bigger photo. So maybe we take this photo and it's going to be like up here. Or maybe it's just this one photo and we have some cool stuff going on in the background or something similar to that. See, like big, little, littler. Big, little, littler. It's just size contrast. It's just guiding the eye and where to go. Here's some other designs that I know Eli made. He's a huge Vikings fan. Sorry for him for that, but he puts a lot of really nice stuff together through the season. Big, little, littlest. We're pulling this together. So I'm going to make something based off of Caleb Williams with that. For this, big, little, littler. Once you see it, you'll see it in a lot of people's designs. They'll be like, here's one for the, whoops. Like here's a design for the Chargers. Big, little, littler sort of thing. So once you get past that composition, it's what can we add to make it more interesting. So like this graphic is really nice. Big, littler, 3 little guys down here that are all the same. They all go together in sequence. But color tinting of this sort of cream color in the background, you know, topographical map, Witt Jr., little sign, a couple little key highlights of where things are. Stuff like that, what can we add? So let's go back to here. Actually, I wanted to look at this here. So this is just 2 guys. Big guy, little guy, thing in the background to add something a little bit interesting, name. I would do that with this photo, but I don't like his face here. So that's why I want to add this to be sort of just a background element. Now I can see on this already too, there's a little weird funky area up here from when I cut this out. I have a brush called James Harden's Beard that I use to do a lot of hair because it's a brush of James Harden's beard. I'm gonna make a group, drag this color overlay up to it so I can just paint with black. It can be any color just to fill in some of these lighter areas of his hair. But this is just a brush. If I paint it, it just looks like a clump of hair. So this is actually pretty much Caleb's hair. There's just a couple little areas I tweaked. Like this is his beard, so everything is pretty solid and aligned with that. So we're gonna set this back up here. The background to me is too white right now, but we'll fix that later. Okay, so maybe we have this up there. This is a question mark. Maybe we'll do top Caleb, whatever. We've got this here, and this here. I think a lot of it is going to depend on what the background is for this too. Let's start with this. I kind of like this image. So we're gonna have this break out of his head here, which might sway me to choose a different image. I'm gonna do this one instead because he's looking over to the side and it's breaking out of the background. It's not like nervously like kind of close to it, like it's intentionally breaking out of it. I think I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller. One thing I usually do, which I haven't done yet on this, is I'm gonna go to View, Guides. I'm gonna make a new guide layout. And this is sort of by default. I've got custom settings. So you do default, but my custom is usually 2 columns with no gutter. Gutter is a space in between guides. It's like in pages of books. If you have guides for where text needs to go, you have a gutter to make it so sure that there's spacing in between. And let's give this a 1/2 inch. No, it's 2. Well, let's do 1/2 inch. That's fine. I'm going to scale this up a little bit to be 16 by 20 when we're done. So I just want to make sure I have nice padding on the side. I tweeted something yesterday about padding that I think is kind of important. Let me pull that up. Padding's important, spacing's important, white space, grids. They're things that you should use, and you should do things intentionally. So like, if I had Caleb Williams on here and the background, like if I have the background like here, like to me, I see down here in the bottom corner, like it's really awkwardly close to the edge. So like I'm gonna move it away from the edge or have it go off the edge completely. For this, I'm gonna have it go off the edge completely now because I kind of like that. We can make this Caleb part a little bit larger. Move it over a little bit so there's not this weird area here. We might fill that in with something later. Okay, so we've got Caleb Williams here. I don't remember if I cut this out and cared about the cutout or not. I don't think I did. Or maybe I did. Some of these I just kind of like willy-nilly cut out. I basically hit quick select and then hit done. And I tried to upscale this with an AI sort of thing. So you can see it's like kind of busted where it says bears, which is why I don't really like this photo, but we're going to use it. So this is what the photo looks like. I desaturated all the greens in it. So I'm going to go back. We're going to use our object selection tool. Just going to click on Caleb, which is going to select him as an object. And then we're going to click and hold down the shift key to add in the football as well. We'll go back to select and mask, and we'll go back in here and we'll fix this up. And I mean, I really hate, I can tell what this looks like in terms of, so a notification, I don't know where it's from. Let's go here. I mean, I can tell this is like edited in AI because it just looks bad, but like, I didn't like the quality of the image, so what are you gonna do? So we're gonna go over here and just kind of cut this out, move this over. Where is, I'm very confused. Ah, there we go, found it. Okay, so we'll go down here like this. And again, I'm just looking around. It's pretty easy to tell like where things should be and shouldn't be. But again, if you're doing this and you can't tell where like an edge is, just fake it, because if you can't tell, no one else is going to be able to tell either. Just make it look as natural as possible. So we're going to cut this up here, like just cut over here. And I'm basically just hovering my finger over the option key. So when I need to add something, I can add it. When I need to remove it, I can hold down the option key to remove that area as well. Dump this down here. We'll get rid of this. Let's see. Shoes, his foot's pretty solid here. Now we could pull a Tony. Tony works for the Magic. He likes to just delete and not cut out shoelaces, but these are pretty easy to do. So anytime I don't cut out shoelaces and just cut them out of the photo, you got to think of Tony. So we're gonna cut this out, and again, I try to do a lot of this beforehand because like none of this isn't fun or, you know, fun to watch, but it's good to know how to sort of cut things out. Hey Tyler, hey Tyler, man, I can't talk. Hey Tyler, how's it going? Hi Tyler. Hope you're enjoying the stream. Like this right here, I'm just gonna remove. Like I don't need this like weird thing. I think the AI like botched what this is supposed to look like, so like bye. Maybe we'll just go like that. It's like these shoelaces, I'm gonna pull a Tony. I'm just gonna remove them because I don't think they add anything to the design. Just give him a shoe. There, now he has a shoe. But these are also shoelaces, maybe? I don't know. Again, like it's real crunchy, weird looking because of scaling it up. But what can you do? Okay, so go right here. This looks good. Just hold down the key here. There's a little bit of artifact, JPEG artifacting we can probably try and remove. I'm gonna get rid of the glare on his arm here. Get rid of it here. Tiny little spot here we need to get rid of. It's always a thing to remember too, is like spaces in between armpits and stuff like that. Make sure you get those. So we'll go up here. This is kind of good. I don't know what's going on here. I'm just going to smooth it out. His jersey's going back here. And I'm removing, you know, I'm just adding and taking away this like pink color that I use. So it doesn't really matter, like, if I accidentally do something, I can just easily fix it. And that's why I like using this more than the pen tool. The pen tool is sort of like a do everything all at once, don't mess up. This is a lot user friendly, which is why I use it. Just add this back, take this away. I don't really know what's going on here. We might just like fix this, like, because AI doesn't know what text is. But we'll see how big this is in the end. Again, we're working with what we can find. There aren't a ton of images of Caleb in a Bears jersey because it's all from one game. A couple quarters of one game. So we'll save that, go back here. It's going to automatically update because it's a smart object. We'll get rid of that. So now we have our base. So I like the idea. I'm going to put this back. I'm moving it back because I don't like this gap here. So I like the idea of sort of stealing what Eli did and having him hang out on Willis Tower. And I wish this photo had color to it. Let's see if we can do this. Let's go to a neural filter. And neural filters are supposed to do cool stuff. I'm going to colorize this image. And it's going to do that, which is pretty cool. Now I can manually color the image. Like I can go in here and select like blue. And it's going to color this part of the image blue, like this. So I can go here, change this color to be, it's too saturated. To be kind of like that. But in general, it's not too bad. And I think I might want to colorize this like this same. And do that. We'll just hit save. Save this as a JPEG and go back. And then it should automatically update. So now we have a colored building. See? Easy peasy. So we will have this fade into something. What is that something? I don't know. I think what we might do instead is drag this up, generatively expand the top here, which should just add a lot more sky. And with that, we'll be able to have it fill up the entire silhouette. That looks so bad. Look how bad that looks. Okay, here's what we're going to do instead. We are going to use the polygonal lasso tool. And we are going to cut out Willis Tower. So we're going to go here. And we're just going to cut this out. We're just going to give it its own new sky. We're going to do sort of a sky replacement tool, but we're going to do it manually. Oh, these are the little viewports people can sit in. We're just going to remove those because I don't want them. It'll be fine. No one will know. It'll be our little secret. A happy little removal of the people. Okay, so we'll go like this. Oops, I can't hit delete. That's almost filled that with a pattern. Okay, so we have Willet Tower. Now I have to save this as a different file. I'm just gonna save it to my desktop because you can't have layers in a JPEG file. We'll go back here. We'll replace this with the file we just made and just move this up so he's standing on Willis Tower. Now what I was going to do is do a generative expand, but we can just go to Envato and just search like clouds. But we want cloud. We want to look straight up at clouds though, because we're looking straight up at a building. So these are all clouds. I guess it's kind of close, but it's a little dark. I wonder what happened. I haven't done this. So I'm gonna make a new document, and I'm just going to generatively fill, and then we'll see how good this is. Blue sky with clouds. Not an aerial view. Looking up from underneath. high quality 8K realistic lighting. I don't know. I'm just going off of what I used to generate with Midjourney like 2 years ago. See, it's so bad. This looks cool. It's cartoony and not what I want. From below. Not the best. Yeah. Not great. Okay. So we'll go here and we'll find what we're looking for. Can I do clouds? Looking up at clouds. It's going to give me a bunch of... Oh, good. Not people. So I want something like this. So I'm going to download this, the first one. We don't really need a license for it. So we'll take this and we'll drop it here. Now, humorously, we don't need this other layer now. Like, the color's gone. Like, it just looks like this now. So that's how things go. Now, these don't match at all, right? So what we're going to do... So we're going to do this. This is cut out. I'm going to take this color. I'm going to give it a fill, a solid color in the background. So this matches. We're going to combine these together, and then we're going to go up to image or edit sky replacement. Sky replacement is going to replace the sky. Now it's going to see this blue and just think this blue is the sky. So it's going to change it like this. So by default, it's using this photo. We're going to add our own photo, and I've added many photos many times, but I'm going to add just these clouds. And this is going to help tint the building. I need to come down here and select that. I think it's right here. Great. So we can do like shift edge foreground lighting. I can turn down or up. So it's gonna make it darker. We don't need to do that. Edge lighting, up or down. It's changing the edge lighting here. We can do that up. And let's do color adjustment up all the way. And just hit OK. And this sky layer, I'm going to go in here with a selective color layer on top of it. I'm gonna go to my cyans and blues. And if you're familiar with color theory, to make a color more saturated, you remove the opposite. So the opposite of cyan is red. So we want to get rid of magenta, we want to get rid of yellow, we want to add this. Because magenta and yellow together make red. But I can go in here and drag these around and see what looks good. I like to add a little bit of black. Let's do it to the blues. The opposite of blue is yellow. So we just take away yellow and add some blues here. Take away or add cyan, take away or add magenta. You can see what it does. I think that looks a little bit better. And we can probably make it like bear's blue, but it'll be fine. And what might work theoretically better is if we gave it some color contrast. So blue jersey is on a sort of orange background. Blue and orange would be something cool to do. We'd be able to do more cool stuff with the lighting. Like we're probably going to end up changing this background, so we can do something cool with like the sun or a flare or something like that. Because right now this is just an image. You know, it's nothing cool. If I show you the inspiration, you know, that Eli graphic, he's got orange and blue in here. He's got this contrast. He's got cool stuff going on. He's got a brighter sky. You know, this is sort of just bleh, dull, dim. So let's edit this. One thing we can do in the sky is we can just take the whites and remove blacks. And we can go to make a curves adjustment or a
curves.
And brighten this up. And we might brighten the whole thing up, which is kind of nice. Let me make a new layer, put it up here. I'm going to grab the gradient tool, and we're going to go back and grab that bear's hex code, which we still have right here. I need to just memorize this. Oops. And we can take a gradient. I'm going to do a basic gradient of just this color. And maybe we can apply, oh shoot. Copy this, go inside the smart object, apply it only to this building. and set it to be like overlay. So now when we save and we go back, we have a little bit of orange on it now, which kind of does, I don't know, something. Maybe we make the background color of this now orange. So now we've got a lot of contrast. This looks cool. We've got Caleb in the background, a little bit of orange at the bottom. We might get rid of that orange now. So you can, the great thing about working with smart objects is I can just double click here, open up this smart object, double up another one, get rid of that orange layer. So now this is our very vibrant blue layer. And you can see, Tyler, that your chat message years later is not up here. Test. It'd be funny if it popped mine up. I don't know why the chat doesn't work. It was working years ago, but not now. Let me see if I can hit a button. Get that to work, but I can see your messages, and that's all that matters. Okay, so we have Caleb Williams here. Hello, Cap. I'm gonna just get rid of this chat box because it just doesn't work. But I can see you guys. You guys are right. You guys are right here. See? Yeah, right. It's not here. This is kind of superfluous. This one. It's just kind of cool to have. So you guys can see your messages on screen. Okay, so we're gonna take Caleb. We're gonna slam this thing down, flip it and reverse it. And we're going to try and have him reflect off of this glass. Let's move all of this up so we can see what we're doing. And we can just do this. So if Caleb was reflecting off of this glass, how would that look? Now I think it'd be scrunched down a little bit and a little bit tight like that. We're going to mask this to just this, which is good. I'm also going to take this and make it so if it's the underlying layer is dark, it's not going to hit that, which is kind of what I want. Which is basically sort of masking out so it's only hitting the reflection, kind of like that. And then what if I just set that to screen? Screen's not right, overlay's okay. Soft light's a little bit more accurate. It's just sort of reflecting though. It's sort of like a normal, but let's go up to filter gallery. Oh God, hold up a huge screen over here. Let me make this smaller. Am I in the right spot already? No. Okay, so we have this Caleb here. I'm gonna go down to distort and go to glass. So glass is cool because you can go in here and you can have it sort of distort this however you want. Canvas or frosted. I'm going to do frosted. The smoothness, I want it to be pretty smooth. Oh, this also has a graphic pen on it. I don't want that. We want glass. So you can sort of distort it. So it's like wavy and stuff, which is kind of cool. I want it to be pretty smooth. And let's scale it down a bunch. I don't think this is going to do exactly what I want. But if we turn this on and off, you can see what it does. It's just sort of distorting it. I think I wanted to distort left and right. So you see how the glass sort of has this left and right texture to it? We can try and use that to our advantage. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to duplicate this file. We're going to put it up here. I'm going to make a... Hitting wrong buttons again. I'm going to make a solid color. We're going to make it white. Maybe black. We'll make it black. Okay, so these two things we're going to combine together. We're going to go to adjustments and we're going to turn it black and white. I like to use a... So it's going to allow us to make this black and white. So we're just going to select black, hit OK, hit OK. It's black and white now. Great. We're going to add some more contrast to this. So in the gradient map, we can just drag it over. Maybe I'll drag it over a little bit more. I mean, that does the same thing. And hit OK. Okay, we're going to group these two together. And we're going to mask these together. Double click. This is a... we're going to use this as a displacement map, essentially. I'm going to save this as Windows. Just going to call it Windows. I'm going to make it a Photoshop file. Save it to my desktop. So if we go back here, we don't need this anymore. I'm going to go to the filter gallery on here, and I'm going to go to this texture. But I can go down here and I can load a texture, and I'm going to load these windows. And then hit OK. So it should mimic the windows perfectly. Now it doesn't. I think I know why. So I'm going to duplicate this Caleb Williams, hide this. I'm going to take this. I know I can cheese this. I think I can cheese it this way. We're going to take these, get rid of the filter gallery, combine these together as a smart object, like this, and then apply the filter gallery. And then it theoretically, we go to the filter gallery, and apply the windows to this, but it's not working. Let me reload the texture. Didn't do what I wanted it to do. Okay, we'll do this instead. We will go to filter, distort, and then we'll go to the displacement map. Man, we're hitting all the keys. We're gonna hit Windows. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna distort him, and it should theoretically emulate where the windows are. So if I set this to like overlay and zoom in, you can see it's distorting based on where stuff is. We're going to go to the displacement, and we're going to change it to be like -10. Horizontally, we wanted to do more. So we wanted to really only displace horizontally. I'm going to do like -25, and vertical, I'm going to do 0 and just hit OK. And hit Windows and see what that does. So it's distorting him left and right. Now it's distorting him weird because our displacement map, which is somewhere, we'll go File, Open Recent, Windows, File, Open Recent, Windows. We're going to blur this slightly because it's really chunky, so you can see how gritty this is. We're going to go to Filter, Blur. We're just going to Gaussian blur it like 3 pixels is what this is. Save, close out. Now if we go to the displacement map, we change it to be the same. Just left and right, go to Windows. It's distorting him like this, which is kind of what we want, kind of not what we want. But it's better than nothing. I'm going to do -10. And now in here we can get rid of this and save it and go back so we don't have that white. So now he's just sort of distorting along the lines of the windows. So if we drag this out, God, sneeze. There, now he's kind of going along the window. Just kind of what we want. And then we will take that and grab a regular gradient and have it sort of dissipate away from here, which is what we want. So we added a little bit of a shadow. Now, there's probably a couple different better ways of doing that. You know, I can actually see he did sort of the same thing Eli did here. He flipped him underneath. He's got a shadow underneath him, which I don't know how much of a shadow there would be on glass. I don't think it looks bad. We're probably going to do the same. But he has sort of this wavy texture to make it look like he's on glass. So we're doing a very similar thing. So I can delete this other Caleb. We can take these guys, attach it back down, and move all these guys down together. Now I'm going to link all these together. That way, where's link? Link? What am I looking at? Oh, I only had one layer selected. I was like, why can't I link these? Link layers. There. So now if I move one, it moves all of them. We have Caleb Williams down here. I'm going to give him a shadow. Now, the way I generally like to do shadows is I'll make a new smart object via copy, go to that first one. I'm just going to get rid of all this and delete the layer mask. And I can see where his shadow is here, which the angles aren't going to match up, but this will probably work. We're going to attach this to here. We're not going to do a gradient map. We'll do a gradient map in here, actually. I might delete all these just to save up on some space. Not that it matters. Gradient map. Oh, open it up here. Click this, make it black and white. And then basically it's just a contrast game. Let me make this a lot smaller so we can see what we're doing. Put it right here. So I want to make it so it's just black and white, pretty much. Kind of like this. Save, go back. Now glass obviously doesn't have a texture to it like this, so we are going to blur this. We're going to go to blur, Gaussian blur. I'm going to blur it like 1 pixel. And then we're going to filter blur. We're going to do a motion blur left and right. So we're going to do a motion blur at 0 degrees at, let's do 15. I still want to Gaussian blur it a little bit more, so we're going to change it like that. We're just going to set this layer to multiply. And basically mask out this whole area, except for where his feet are. So we'll go in here. I'm going to grab a soft brush, make it smaller. I'm going to grab this here and hold up and make this a really skinny brush. And then just paint back in on this layer of this multiply where his shadow would be. And it's not great. Can we even see that this exists? Not really. So let's delete that, and instead we'll do it a different way. This is probably what Eli did too. I'm just going to do what Eli does. So I have these foot shadow brushes from Dean Davies that I use all the time. I think he's got a couple packs. I should probably get his other pack. But I like to use these for shadows because they're a lot more natural. So I usually make a big guy, and I don't know the exact way he wants these to be used. I just make a big one, turn it into a smart object. I'm going to hide this back layer and hide everything else so I can make this look like a realistic shadow. So the darkest point for this, technically, because he's like kind of elevated, would be kind of like this. Except it'd be more intense in the center. It would really be like, you know, like this. Kind of like that. But then we can duplicate this and just blow it back up. Like this. Drag down, set this to be like 80 or like 75%. And put it in here as well. And we'll drag it out kind of like that. I want to make sure nothing goes past this. But the darkest spot is in the center. I'm going to mask out. I'm going to use a brush. I'm not going to use that brush. I'm going to use just a regular brush like this and sort of mask out this side. That looks fine, kind of. I think this is a little dark. We're going to set this to like 50, so it's just on top. And we're going to spread it out just a little bit more. Because we want it to be darkest where his foot is hitting, but not like ridiculous. I think that looks okay. It's not the best. Spread this back out a little bit more. And go here. And I think this is too dark. So this to be like 25. Make a new layer for a new foot shadow. He's got on here like ball shadows, elevated leg. So he's got an elevated foot in the back here. So we're going to go like this. We're going to match this up to that and just put it down here like that. So we're going to elevate it just a little bit because it's in the back. It's technically behind. And we'll set that to like 50% and then sort of have these merge a little bit. And this is going to be something that's going to be so indiscernible because it's going to be reflecting off glass that no one's going to know it's there. See, if we turn these back on and go here, you can't even see them. You don't even know that they exist. But we can accentuate it on purpose. I'm going to do that kind of like that. And then we're going to blur some of these. We'll do a Gaussian blur. 3 pixels on this one. Let's do it on this one as well. There. All right. Whoops. That's a good point. It's a good point, computer. Graphic. We need to make sure we save. So we're going to save because we haven't saved it all. So all this stuff would be bad. This document is already too large, so we need to save it as a PSB file, which means the file is over 2 gigabytes. And we're going to unlink layers. We're going to link all of these layers together so our shadows move around with it as well. So now we have Caleb, nice silhouette behind him. I want to make sure it fills up this whole space. I'm looking up here, looking up here. Maybe we make him a little bit taller. So we're looking good right now. The background kind of sucks. Maybe we do that little gradient to add a little bit of flare. Oops. I really like orange gradients. That's what I was trying to say earlier. If you follow my work, I really like orange gradients. I do a lot of work for Princeton football, which I think I have some examples in here, maybe. Maybe not. Maybe down here at the bottom. Nope. But like, here's an example of like, but this is a different graphic someone else made for Princeton. But I just like gradients. Orange gradients just look really nice. So we've got that going on. Let's go back here. So we've got Caleb here. This is a background element now, which is great. Can we use this for something? Maybe we flip this around, make it larger, and have this come up from the top as sort of like a frame in sort of thing. Maybe we set this to multiply, put it underneath this, link it to this, put it above here. Give this a gradient map. Burn out, burn out, brown, burn out, brown. Really just curves, but lighten this up, group this together, set it to overlay. But if the top layer, this current layer is white, I don't want it to see through, so then it's just sort of texture. And maybe we put it on the left-hand side here. Kind of like this. That looks kind of nice. Then we can take this gradient, and instead of going left and right, we can have it go kind of like this. What happens if it goes the other way? Hold on, I need this to be black and white. Actual black and white. So when I draw this, it changes the whole thing. Do we want it to look like that, or do we want it to look like that? No, we want it to look like this. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, Tennessee, I've not stolen, but stolen a couple ideas they have. Like, Princeton does a lot of orange and gray, orange and gray. You know, it's similar with Tennessee, but Tennessee adds in, and I've taken the same idea because it's a good idea, is you add in a contrasting color. So you basically just, you know, I'll take this color and just invert it and be like, here's this nice blue color. So I should actually take this blue color. I'm going to take this blue color now, the opposite of this orange, and paste it on top of here. And go like this, and then change this to be hue. So now the hue of this is going to be the exact same, the exact opposite of the color of the bear's blue. And I can add it again here and set it to be color or hue. I'm going to set it to color and just sort of dumb it down a little bit. But this is going to contrast best because they're the exact opposites. All right, so we have this one Caleb here. We're going to need his name somewhere. So obviously we need to put his name on something. So how are we going to do that? We'll probably put it here. He's looking right here, so his name right here would be in a good spot. Let's take a look at our inspiration folder. See, like Eli does here. Highlighting his eyes, make it look. He's got stuff going over here. He's looking this way so we can see his name. We can play with that a little bit later. I'm trying to think, how do we want to do, we do some lighting, like this great design by Ethan J Design, which is super small because I didn't upsize it. But, you know, how do we do this? Do we add in a contrasting color? You know, he's got these two contrasting colors here. The background is blue, but do we add some sort of orange element back to the foreground? Stuff like that. It's got an interesting sky. We've got a sky here. Can we add something up here in the sky? You know, we've got these. So we've got this image, which we're probably going to blow up and be like this. What we're going to do is we're actually going to take this I'm gonna put this in a group. We're gonna go down here, invert the selection, and we're gonna use the old polygonal lasso tool. And let's basically cut out what we did for the building. So he's coming out of the building. I don't think he's going anywhere over there. So we'll just do this and hit delete and then just invert the selection. So now he is behind the building, behind Caleb, and then we can put this wherever we want. And we'll probably end up blurring that a little bit so it's not so obvious, because we want this to be interesting. But I'm just thinking composition wise, like that's why I have this up here. We can see what the composition looks like. You know, does it look how we want it? Now this photo of Caleb is super busted. This is one I for sure did not actually cut out. So we'll go in here and we'll tweak this. Go in here. And the thing is, we could spend like the whole rest of this stream just trying to do really crisp, clean lighting. But we have a lot of other stuff to figure out first. So we'll do that. So we're gonna cut this photo out better, because I just used the quick select and hit OK just so I was trying to get a general idea of what I wanted this graphic to look like, even though in my head I knew it was probably going to do a cool silhouette sort of thing. So we'll go like this, grab this here. Now the intention of this too is to like theoretically have him sign it. You know, if we were to take this to a Caleb Williams signing, or if other Bears fans wanted to get it signed, where would it go? So like on this guy here, I left room at the bottom. Like there's a nice spot right here where he can get it signed, or even over here where he can get it signed. I might have even removed this part here where he can sign it. I don't recall. I can find an example though, because I know there are a lot of people who got their signed. So once I'm done cutting this out, I'll find one on Facebook, because I know some people got them printed to be signed. So we'll just go over here. I'm just gonna cut that off. We don't really care about it. I don't know what's going on here. This photo, you can see I didn't upscale, which is why the letters and stuff on his face are normal, and you can read it. And it's not some sort of gobbledygook. So we're gonna get down to his cleat, and his cleat's gonna look hilarious because I like kind of manually did his cleat, but I really did it haphazardly. So we're gonna add his butt back in. Like that. Lag, lag, lag. Let's round his calf out a little bit, give him more of a calf here. Yeah, and this is where I just sort of like YOLO'd it completely. So we'll go like this. Paint this back in. I don't know what this is. I'm just gonna cut it. It's probably part of a sock crumpled up, but it looks weird. Get rid of this. Make this a little bit sharper. I think I initially cut these out on my laptop. It's just a lot easier to cut with a mouse. I used to cut a lot of stuff out with a trackpad, which is fine. But I got a new mouse on Prime Day, so. And it's very nice. It's very snappy and does what I want. So you see here I cut out his shoelaces. Pulled a Tony because we don't need it. Or actually didn't select them. I don't really care, so we'll cut them out. Doesn't matter. This whole photo too, like I'm trying to cut it out nicely down here. Like this is probably not going to end up in the image, because it's going to be faded into something. Back looks fine. We'll do this here. Get rid of this. Add this back. Add this here. But here's the shoelaces. You know, we've got shoelaces here. We'll just keep them. It's fine. This all looks smooth. This looks weird. And once you've used this tool a lot, you start to get a very quick idea of this looks good, this looks weird, this looks good, this looks weird. Now we got Caleb here. I might want to center him right here, you know, in his head, so we have that general sense. And maybe we want to just sort of fade him up like this. I think I want it to fade up, but I want his hands and stuff in front to be fine. So I'm gonna mask out, just like slamming my keys down. We'll just do this, boop, boop, hard, okay, great. And erase this. If you hit D, it defaults the colors, and then you can hit X to swap between them. So that's what I do a lot here. So black is going to remove from a mask, and white is going to add back. I'm going to hide this Williams on top because I want it to fade in, but I want it to fade in just his hands and arms. And I could probably use like a selection tool to do this, but we're just going to go here and cut it out like this. I hope you're enjoying the smooth jazz tones of royalty-free music on loop. But what can you do? Froze a little bit, put this football back in. Some of this might get covered up, so it's not going to matter. Just get rid of all of this, and then just go back in and just know that it's going to look somewhat smooth with these round brushes to add back in. And a lot of this too is how much of this is going to be detectable printed out on a 16 by 20 print. That's the question. What is this right here? Is this the football? It's not his number. Something weird. We'll turn this Caleb back on. So now he's kind of floating, but not really. Does this look nice? I don't know. I think we just need to adjust this to be more like this, and maybe it just blends in a little bit better. So we like don't really need this, but it's really just on the football. And we'll hit save. I also have a
save as.
Okay, so this is saved. Let me hop on the old Book of Face. And I'm going to find a Justin Fields signed print. I want posts that I have seen. I want recent posts. So here's one. Here's one. Oh, this is someone who wants one. This is Jason. Jason actually wants one of these made for Caleb. I'm actually kind of making this for Jason. So this is what he has. But I know people signed them. Let me just type in Fields. People, of course, each got traded, so then people just want to just sell Justin Fields stuff. Here you go. So here's one. Here's one someone got. And he got Justin Fields to sign it here. Bear down at Soldier Fields. Authenticated by Beckett. So, actually, they did a good job framing this in too, because there's nothing up here. So, worked out pretty well. That's what we're replacing. We're making a new one. What can go in this frame, because Caleb Williams is our quarterback now? Let's group these together. Just so I can move them together. It doesn't really matter, but we'll group them together like this. Okay, this looks sweet. I like how this looks. So we've got a little bit of texture here. What's up, Felipe? Said something other to the side here. So if we look at our inspiration, we can do something with the logo. Like with this one here, I think Johnny made this just because I can just tell. Could be wrong, but we can put like his face in the background. So I don't remember if we have a good face image of him. And I could pull something from college that would work. But I got a folder of images here. Just go to my desktop. Here's some random stuff. Images. Oh, that head image. Maybe we can put that back there. So do we still have that helmet image in here? Yeah. So we have this helmet image. Maybe we just sort of rotate this down, blow it up, kind of like this. What is this? This is set to overlay. So we'll set this to overlay. Except we don't want it to be light stuff. We just want dark stuff. So we'll go like that. That looks kind of nice. It's just texture. We're going to grab the same gradient map. Yeah, I use Bridge, Felipe. To be honest, today you don't know what purpose it serves. So with Bridge, let me make sure these are the same-ish. Ah, I did the wrong one. That's why it didn't do anything, because I did underline layer, but I wanted it to do the current layer. So it's only going to make things darker now. Bridge is just another program that lets you browse assets, browse images. It's very similar to, it like combines Finder and Lightroom together. So like for instance, here's this image of Caleb Williams. I can look through, like I can go through all of my assets I have. I can go in here, stock images. So if I want some displacement stuff, I can go in here and I like how this looks better than Finder. I can also sort by different things. This is really helpful, sort of like Lightroom, where I can sort by when a photo was taken. I can star images if I take photos of things. Like if I go on a trip, I can be like, these are all the good photos. These are panoramic photos. I can see when photos are taken, what lenses I used. But you can also go in here and do a little bit of camera raw outside of Photoshop. So I can click on this camera raw button up here at the top, and it's going to lag and then pull up camera raw. So I can do camera raw ahead of time. So if you have a lot of photos you want to batch edit, you can highlight all of them and apply all of the camera raw settings the same. So if you take a bunch of photos at the same event, you can go in and edit them all at once. But I can go in here and be like, okay, well, let's up the shadows. Let's go to the color mixer and, increase the saturation of the blue, oranges, and reds. And go down here and color grade it. So the midtones are, orange, and then, just general editing of this. So I'm just going to quickly randomly edit this. And I can hit OK. And now it's, I'm going to hit don't save. If it's a raw image, which is a CR image or whatever for Canon, it'll have the edits done automatically in here. And I think it has the edits applied. So if I go to camera raw here, all of these are saved. These edits are saved outside of Photoshop in this folder. Because in this folder, there will be a file. So let me pull that up. Oh, maybe not. But I use it just to sort out my images. It's pretty nice. Hello, Tim. Welcome back to the stream. Yeah, I mean, if you use Finder or Windows Explorer, it works fine. I just like using Bridge because I like the way I can sort things out. I also use it to organize stuff. So, like, if I go to my downloads folder or whatever, I can go over here and I can sort by, JPEG folders. If I have random GIFs or zip files that are in there that I can delete, I can sort from that on here and delete them. Or I can say, show me only ping files. That way I can delete them if they aren't needed. Okay, so I like how this is looking. Let me set this to soft light. Overlay, soft light, overlay, soft light. Let's do soft light. Move it up like this. And actually, if we do that, let's put this back in. Maybe I want to set this to... Let me cycle through these. If you hold down the shift key, you can hit plus and minus, and it will cycle through all of the blending modes. That way you can see what blending mode might look best for what you want. Usually it's going to be screen multiply, soft light, or overlay. Let me just set this to like 50%. I think that's fine. I don't like how light this is, and I think it's because of this. So if I set this to overlay at 100%, no, let's do soft light at 50. No, I need the lightness there. I think that's good. Okay, so I'm going to add in Bridge. I can go over here to assets, and I can go down here to the Ethan J Design Mega Bundle and go to the light effects pack and go to light leaks and use one of these light leaks. Now the light, now we sort of have this yellow light coming out. It's going from dark to light. So I'm going to pop this on top and just add this now. Light source up here, top left, top right, not left. gonna bust this out kind of like this and go like that. Maybe we go like this or something and then stretch this out. I don't know. I'm just kind of messing around with the image. I just want more orange on it. And we can set that to screen. So now we have a little bit more lighting effects that are on here. We just need to make sure there's not a weird line like that where we go in and then create a gradient to mask out that area. On, off, on, off. Basically adding nothing, but it's fine. I'm going to bump this Caleb Williams up a little bit. So Caleb Williams is now in this frame of his head, which I like, and we've got him here. Now, I might want to move him over a little bit. And I'm just looking, like, in terms of contrast where things are. I'm going to put his name right here. It's going to look really nice. So I like how this looks. We can do a lot with effects and, like, lighting, which we're going to do. I just want to see what we have in our inspiration folder. This is our image folder. We want that. Inspiration. Let's cycle through some of these. Oh, these are all really small images too, so I can see them better than you. I'm accidentally starring this. Let me just do this. That's not doing what I want. Home run derby image. So what can we, we can put in a little bit of topographic map. I really like doing that. It's something that like a lot of people overdid for a while there. They do a really nice job of it here though with Kansas City. They've also have this really huge grit texture on top of it, which gives it a nice little gritty look, which green's always fun to add. Here's something great from Texas, not Texas, the wrong UT or the right UT. Cream. A little bit of texture going on here, which we're gonna add. We're gonna figure out what texture to add and how to add a little bit of texture. Let me remove this chat box. I'm just gonna try one thing real quick. We're going to add. I don't even remember what it is. What was it? One of these. Oh, what is this? What is chat 2? Is this our chat box? Someone say something in chat. Let's see if it pops up here. I put this right. Oh, this is a longer chat box. Oh, it's still me saying hey chat, so it clearly doesn't work. Okay, never mind. So we can see here, he's just got this nice image background, this cool stuff. How do we incorporate text? That's a thing too. How are we going to incorporate the text to make it so it doesn't seem like it's an afterthought? I just like the colors of that. I really like this. Just the really grittiness of this. I don't think we're going to apply a lot to this, but maybe we can add a little bit. Little outline of the Cotton Bowl logos. Really nice addition to this. A little logo tag down here with some logos would be nice. Let me pull up. We got to put a Bears logo on here somewhere. Let me search bears.eps on my computer, and we have 2 files of bears.eps. Great. Are they both the same? Yes and no. Okay, we're going to delete this one because it's not correct. So here's the Bears logo. So we can do something with this. Like I said, I'm going to duplicate this via make a new smart object via copy. So now we have 2 different versions of this, so they're not the exact same. And I double clicked it, so it's opening up Illustrator right now. So with Illustrator opening, we're gonna basically make it a white outline. And then that white outline is going to allow us to just making sure I didn't quit out of something. The white outline is going to make us have some sort of textural element. So it looks like this. We can get rid of libraries. We don't need that. Hit Command Y. It's just going to show me the outline of this. Hit Command Y again. So I want this and this to have a white outline. And then I want to get rid of the white part in between. So if we save and we go back to Photoshop, it looks like this now, which is what we want, except the line is way too thick. So we're going to make the line like 0.12, 0.125. Save. Yes, I would like you to edit it over here. And we now have this here. So how can we interlay this? You know, we can put it right here, set it to overlay. We can put it actually... What I want to do is I want to take this and mask it around that. So he's going in front of it, but it's still hitting on the top of it. But it's still there and it still exists. But it's also just texture. Logo. Add this here. Now we can add a pattern a bit too. Oh, there's a bunch of cool stuff we can add. It really just depends how much time we have. The answer is we have as much time as we really want. But let's ignore that for now. Let me go to this Caleb Williams here. So I'm going to group these together because I want to grab this. So I'm going to go to select, modify, contract. We're going to contract 2 pixels. I'm going to go to adjustments. I'm going to grab a curves layer.
Curves.
We're going to drop this on here. We're going to do the reverse curves technique. We're going to brighten this up, invert it, and give it a feather of like 3.5. So now it has this little bit of a, what is that? A little bit of an edge highlight to it. But I can see in this image, in the original image, and I will probably go back in and fix this. It's just not cool to do on stream. I'm going to go in here and just change that. And you can see he's got a little fringe to it. Let's just fix that now on all of these. Okay, let's go back to this in original image. We'll go here. I'm gonna do it I keep saying the word cheese, but we're gonna cheese it up. We're gonna do it the cheese way. We're gonna go to select, modify, contract, and we're gonna contract this 1 pixel. There's a bunch of different ways to do this, but when we do that, it's gonna get rid of a lot of the fringe around the edge. I have to save all of these. I also have to save and do that here because it's not the same image anymore. It's a different smart object inside of a smart object. Select, modify, contract, 1 pixel. Click this guy here, save. And I didn't erase that spot up there, but it should be fine. So now if I take this, select, modify, contract. What's up, Tank? Delete layer mask. Put this here. Invert the mask. Set it to 3.5. So now we have this nice little fade around, which we can't even... Yeah, see, it's barely there, which is good. I'm going to grab this color fill layer, and we're going to do the same thing on here. So it's going to color around Caleb Williams with that. And that's set to 0. We're going to set this to screen. You can see how it looks kind of busted there. So maybe we'll set it to 50%. We can also go in here and just be like, nah, I don't want it to be here. That looks kind of weird. Just dumb it down a little bit. What we can also do is we can take this, delete this layer mask, set this to screen, invert it, and just take like a really light brush and just go around the edges and just sort of add in like this fake lighting. And it's applying it to the whole group, which is kind of what we want. Now I'm not going to do it up here because I kind of want to do that with this in not inverted color. So if we get rid of that, this is set to screen, but there's no fill. So it looks like this. So we're going to take this, set it to color, invert it. I'm actually going to give this the same same thing. So it's on around the fringe like this, except we're going to edit this one a little bit and make it so if the underlying layer is dark, we're not really going to do it. We're going to set it to screen, but we're going to take these two guys and with a light brush, we're going to get rid of the blue in the top right, because we're saying there's a light source coming from up here. So we don't want this to be blue. We want it to be this color. And same thing here. I don't need to undo that. We want to make sure there's no orange down here because it's coming from the top. Okay, so then we'll take this, add it back here. What is this? Set the screen at 50%. We're going to delete this layer mask. It's going to look like that. I'll set it to 100%. Mask it out. Just wanted to see the brightness of that. And then we're going to go in with this. We're just going to add a little bit of color. So that makes him look a little bit better. We can also go in to this initial image and do a little bit more editing. And really, all I'm going to do is lighten his eyes up a little bit and brighten them up. I'm not going to do it like insanely. We're just going to do just a little bit. Subtlety is always good when doing stuff like this. And one thing we probably should have done, which we'll look at and see how good or bad it looks. I'm going to go to hue and saturation. We're going to select the yellows. We're going to desaturate and highlight. And we're going to just tag his eye a little bit and go like that. So what did we do? Practically nothing. Great. Okay. What was I going to do? Oh. When doing sort of lighting stuff, we added in some highlights. Usually I take away some highlights. You basically like neutral out the image. So it's like a generic log image, and then you add and take stuff away. But I think it's fine sort of how it is. We're gonna grab all these exact same files, and we're gonna add it to our main Caleb Williams image. We're basically, we're gonna delete all the layer masks, because they don't make any sense for this. We're gonna keep all the layers the same. So we're gonna grab Caleb here, select, modify, contract. 1 pixel's fine. We'll add a mask, and the properties we'll do 3.5, and we will invert this, and we will apply it to most of these. We're gonna add layer masks that are inverted to these. So now it looks like this. Great. But we definitely don't want the blue to be in this area, because there's no blue in this area. It's orange, or it's not reflecting behind this. We want it to reflect just from the area where it's actually hitting. So we want to get rid of the orange down here. And to make this a little bit better, we're going to get rid of the blue at the very bottom here. We might add in a little bit of a shadow there too, and highlight. So blue highlights. I'm changing the flow and opacity of my brush. That way when we add in some of these highlights, it does it subtly and not crazy abrasive. And again, if you do something you don't like, you can always hit X, switch back to black, and get rid of it. Okay, so now it looks like this. I really like how this looks. Basically in my mind, I'm going, what do I want? If this was something I hung up on my wall, what would I be proud of? And I like this. I kind of want to add some sort of flare behind this large photo of Williams. But I'm afraid it's going to make me want to change a lot of stuff. But we'll do it anyway, because it's fine. So I'm going to go back to Bridge. I'm going to go to my Assets folder. Go back down like this. This is just literally just assets of stuff. So we're gonna go back to Ethan J Designs. I use his stuff a lot. He's got some really nice lens flares in here. There's one I use Op-In, which is this one here, flare number 8. We're gonna toss it here. We're going to take this color guy. We're gonna delete this layer mask. We're gonna set this to color and set it to 100%. So our flare looks like this, which is what we want. So we're going to convert that to we don't want to do that. I want to make this larger. And put it behind Caleb. So now it's behind Caleb. The color fill we just want to be just in the center here. That doesn't need to move. But then we could set this to screen. Now, as you can see, it's too bright. We'll go to adjustments, and I'll go to my levels layer, and we'll pull in the dark point. So that way it looks like this now. And here's the thing. Can you even tell that this is there? Not really. So maybe we just pull this back a little bit. So it's like that. And pull this in a little bit more. And then we make it a little bit larger. 66. 55. That looks pretty solid. Got this nice cool building thing. We've got him reflecting off it. We don't need him reflecting off of it. This is sort of he's sort of Happy Gilmoreing it up in space, like a ghost. I do want to put my logo on here. Let's do that. Let me see if I can find my new logo. New logo. Actually, no. It's logo intro hyphen I19. Right? I recently moved a lot of stuff off of my computer, so it's kind of hard for me to find things. We're gonna open up this, which is a Suni Lee design I made, and we're just gonna steal my logo from that. We're also gonna open up another design and steal some sort of this atmospheric thing from it. There, sorry. I saw that you couldn't see me. I saw my light flashing and then thought I hit the button and then didn't hit the button. Thank you. Yes, you can't hear me. Ignore the last 30 seconds of the stream. Just skip to now. We're going to do some end sort of editing stuff before we're done, just so I have it on here ready to go. So I'm going to go to adjustments. I'm going to go to color lookup. I really like using color lookups. They're like Photoshop filters. They're like Instagram filters in here. We've got Ethan J design once again. He makes really good stuff. Now a lot of these, and he'll show you if you watch, he'll post little videos of how he makes stuff, like layer on layer stuff. He uses a lot of these, but he uses them set to like 25%. So like I usually use this Make It Pop 9, and I'm using it at 25%. I'm gonna add another one. Let's do orange and teal plus orange and teal contrast. So he uses teal and orange. I'm using sort of teal and orange. So I'm not 100% certain what these do, but the idea is it's creating more contrast with teal and orange. Like there's one by default down here, teal and orange plus contrast. So it's tweaking the teal and orange and adding contrast to this. Now I can set this to like 25% again, turn this on and off. You can see what it does. It's like, it's sort of muting these, actually kind of like what it's doing to the jerseys, because the jerseys are a little purple. This is fixing it. But we're gonna go up here, we're gonna use a different one. Let me cycle through some of these. And when I mean cycle, I mean this one looks fine, so we'll use this first one, right? Let's add another color lookup. You can add as many of these color lookups as you want. Like here's 2-strip, which looks terrible, but you can cycle through color modes or blending modes to see what they do. Yeah, color lookups, exactly, Siraj. They make things look cohesive. They glue things together. This is what I always say. We're gonna glue this together. Let me open up this Kyler Gordon design I made. I watched a video of this guy who's making this crazy graphic with this atmosphere. So I'm just gonna grab a couple things out of this and paste them in here. And they're not really gonna look like they're gonna do a lot. And they probably aren't, but I'm going to add them here anyway. So it's adding just a little bit of grit, a little bit of, this is a lens dirt, and I always add lens dirts to things because I like them. All right, so I'm gonna add a selective color up here at the top. I have a different YouTube video on how to use selective color if you wanna watch that, but we're gonna do it here quickly. Okay, so we have the logo, which is fine. We're gonna move that with this. So I wanna move just Caleb up a little bit. Just like how that looks a little bit better. So selective color, I used it already in here. I'm going to use it. Someone gave a key, like they're like, you take selective color and then you move it down all the way. Ray, this is going to be uploaded as soon as I'm done. If you're busy at work, you want to watch this later. Probably like another hour, hour and a half only. So later today, it should be up on YouTube on my channel. So take a look at it then. So the whites, you know, you can see what I'm doing. I'm adding black or removing black from the whites. If you play around with this a little bit, I'm going to add a little bit of cyan to it. Make them a little bit darker. What I want to do, though, is I'm going to take the magentas. And I'm going to move this around. I don't know where the magenta is. It's barely changing his jersey. So I'm going to add in blue, black, and slide these around and see what they do. It's not really doing a lot. But the blues, I want to remove the magenta from the blues. So you see if I move this down all the way, the color of the jersey, and if I move it up, what it's doing. So with the blues, I'm going to add a little bit of yellow just to mute down the tone of the blues. Because yellow is the opposite of blue. So we're going to move it down a little bit. So now it's a lot less purple, which is what I like. And it's tweaking the background a little bit as well. What I like to do, and this is what I do when I edit images of for like skin tones, is I like to remove cyan from the red and add a little bit of black. I do that to the yellows and the reds. The opposite of yellow is blue. The opposite of red is, so the opposite of red is cyan. The opposite of yellow is blue. So blue is technically cyan and magenta, but it doesn't really matter. But I'm making like super subtle changes to this. So I'm gonna save this because I probably should save. This is my logo, so let's do group logo. I'm gonna add just like this little tiny gradient down here. Set that to multiply, put it below my logo, set it to like 50%. Basically, I don't want to give my logo a drop shadow. I'm going to, but I just want a little bit more contrast for my logo. Let's do opacity of 75, distance of 0, and then 30. Let's do distance of 15 and set this to like 33. That's better. Now we can see my logo. Save, save. We need his name on here. We need a lot of things. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a little bit of tweaking at the end. So I have this top file, which is just a layer of everything. And we are going to do some edits to this. Now, what is this? What the hell is that? Like, what the hell is that? I think we moved something. What the heck is going on? Yeah, it's definitely from this. I know it's from this layer. Is it this? Okay, it's not from this top layer. Is it from here? You know what? That's masked out. It's showing the background. This isn't... When I went in and cut this out, I didn't go in and check that this was actually transparent. I just didn't see it. But you can really see it. And it's not even here. It's here. So let me delete this layer mask. Yeah, see this? You gotta paint in all of this because it technically was masked out. So now if we select this, select, modify, contract 1. Full contrast now. See, it's better. better now, but not great. And why is that? It's because of these? Hold on. Yeah. Oh, I guess I can just paint in here and then paint in the other one too. Because these are both on the inside, so it doesn't really matter. Really weird. Tyler, we're going to take a look at the Bears schedule in a second, and I'll tell you what we're going to do. These highlights are messing with me now. Yep. What is up, Akil? There we go. Okay, that looks way better. Get rid of that. Okay. Get rid of that. That's better. Okay. See, things just I noticed that I go, what the hell is that? It shouldn't exist. Looks really funky. Save. What is this? I hit something. Okay. So Bears schedule. Schedule. We're gonna do something else fun real quick too. That someone told me to do. Official website of the Bears. I would like a printable schedule, please. Is this a fun printable schedule or is it easy to look at? Oh god. Oh god. This is the Bears designed schedule. Boom. Okay, here we go. We got a brush. Look at this. I opened up this PDF and it's actually somewhat editable, which is very funny. I can theoretically... Wow, that's hilarious. You want the Bears' actual like logo they're using? It's right here. Because this is an editable PDF they have on their website with layers. It's like, here's the textures they use. This is great. I can see how they made this. I'm really glad we pulled this up, Tyler. That's pretty hilarious. Here's the background they used. You know. What is this? Oh, here's the Bears VIP fan package logo. See, that's why you download PDFs online. You find stuff like this. Okay, so I have a brush here. I'm going to do green. We got green for wins, and we're going to do red for losses. And then we're going to set this layer to be set to multiply. So I can go like this and go on top and go win or lose. And then we can set it to be really hard. Okay. Okay, I'm going to do this very cautiously. Okay, so we're not going to beat the Texans. We're probably not going to beat Buffalo. Oh, this is all preseason. None of this matters. And we already beat Buffalo, so it doesn't matter. Okay, regular season, great. Titans, I think we can beat the Titans. Houston will probably lose. Colts, I think we can win. Rams is a toss-up, but probably not. Panthers, we might win. I think we can beat the Jaguars. Washington's no good. Arizona, we're going to beat the Packers. I mean, Pacers. Pacers, Jesus Christ. Go be topping. Hold on, where's the at Packers? We're going to lose at Green Bay. I think we might beat Green Bay. We'll split with the Vikings. The Seahawks are always just good. San Francisco, oh, sorry. Seahawks will lose. San Francisco will probably lose. Arizona, I don't know. We'll come back to that later. It's like a thing of like, I think we beat the Lions at home, but lose to them here. It's like, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 9 and 7. So if we beat Arizona, like 10 and 6. I think 10 and 6 is reasonable. 9 and 7 is really easy. Not easy, but I think really reasonable. I don't think there's any way we don't win a certain amount of games. See how fuzzy this looks right now? So I came back and I see this is really fuzzy. On the 16th against the Lions will probably be a loss. You could swap them. I think we'll split hairs with both, you know? I don't know. We'll see if last year the Lions were a fluke or not, really. We might lose both of those. I don't know. We're going to win at least 7 games. But with a rookie quarterback, I think we'll be fine. Okay, so we're gonna do something real quick here, then I'm gonna show you something else on the internet. So what I like to do is I like to also, to glue everything together, do some final camera raw adjustments. So we got camera raw here. Oh, that game's in London? The Bears play really well in London, though. I'm still gonna say we're gonna win that, but the Jags play there every other year. So for this, I'm just gonna do some slight effects. Oh god, we're gonna change the exposure to be -10. Color, we're not gonna change. Effect, I'm gonna add a little bit of this. I'm gonna dehaze it, just a tinge. Color mixer's fine. Color grading this is where I can get in with some fun stuff. So we can move this around and figure out what we want our color grading to be. So we sort of want this, I want these to be opposite. So usually this is what I do. Shadows are one color, midtones are another color. Usually the midtones and highlights are sort of matching the thing. So if I can show you this, before, after, before, after, before, after. Detail will add a little bit of sharpening, and then optics will add, not optics, effects will add a little bit of grain. We already have grain on here. I'm gonna go to my libraries. I have this really nice Princeton grain I use at Princeton. I'm just gonna put it on top, set it to overlay. Just gonna add a little bit of grain. So now we can hide that. Okay, let me go to something else. What is next? Don't want that. There's a Wordle, but not Wordle. It's hex codes. So here's someone playing it. Hexcodal. Hexcodal. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. We are going to... Yeah, we're just going to add noise. We're just going to add noise to everything. This is a cool game called Hexcodal. So it's like Wordle, but with hex colors. So our target is this pink color. So if you, I'm gonna show you just if you're not aware of colors. So the hex codes are RRGGBB. So FF0000 is red. 00FF00 is green, and then 0000FF is blue. It goes from 0 to 9, and then A through F. So we'll go here. So this is pretty muted. So 50% gray would be like 8888888. But this would be lighter than that. So a lighter color would be like BBBB. BBBBBB. But we want this to have less red, so this might be like BB. You know, I'm going to do 003322 or something like that. Okay, so our guess was way too red. So it's higher than 00, higher than 22. So it's higher than B. So this might be like EA 5555. What does that look like? Closer. So 55 and 5 are correct. AB. Oh, I did wrong. So it's... Oh, no. So it's lower than E, higher than B. So in between that would be C and D. So we'll do D. A. It's lower than A, so it's actually a number. So it might be 8, 5, much higher, and much higher than 5. So we'll do 885. We're really close. So it's lower than D, so it has to be C 9, 5, 9, C5. So everything is correct except for the C. So it's C9, C9, 5, 9. It's somewhere, it's either 9, A, or B. And it says it's like one below, so it might be B5. We did it. And it's giving me happy birthday in my ears. That's pretty good that we got that, because that's actually really hard to do with that many guesses. Anyway, back to this. All right, so you want me to add noise to this? All right. How do I want to add noise? Add noise. Let's add 10% noise. Let's do it in a Gaussian fashion to make it monochromatic. Oh, here's something I can do too. I can double click this and change my noise to be luminosity. And then I can set it to be even lower here. This looks pretty good. So I can turn this off. Turn this on. We'll put this down here. So I can turn this on at any time. Make a new layer and just apply the layer style to that. So we'll do that later. Okay, so how do we want the text to be? We want to add Caleb Williams to this somewhere. So let's go back to Bridge. Let's go to my downloads folder or my desktop. Go to the old inspo here. So we could do something simple that like they did when he was at USC, where we've got text like this. I think the main things we would have on this, if we look at the old thing we did here, Justin Fields, QB1, his signature on there, 18. I was trying to find a photo of like a Kyle Orton jersey because Kyle Orton played for the Bears. We could add some extra little things like this here. So Raj, you want to know my favorite two adjustment layers? Color balance and curves are your favorite. Curves is the most... what is the word I'm looking for? You can do the most with curves. I have hotkeys on here for
gradient map
and
curves.
So probably gradient map and curves is probably what I use most often. I really like selective color though. I use selective color all the time. And I haven't hit this yet, but we're making this design for...
The Bears. The Bears.
Okay, that makes me feel better now. Yeah, I really like this Curry design too. Like we could try and add in some hand-drawn elements. I think that would be kind of nice. We could probably add in here too. If we really wanted to be sneaky, we could like paint his nails, because he kind of paints his nails, and we can put like bears or something like that. I don't know if we'd be able to do that sneakily, or like F Packers or something like that. I don't know. That's where we can hide something fun. But for now, what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to take these and I'm going to underline layer. I'm going to change it so it doesn't affect the dark points. And that's going to make this look a little bit more natural and not as fuzzy. I mainly want things to be fuzzy if I want them to be fuzzy. This I don't really want to be that fuzzy. Okay, so here's what we have in my brain. We have the number 18 going right here. 18. Now, I need to figure out what font to use. We could spend the next hour talking about fonts. We're not going to. Yearbook is a good font for... it looks like this. 18, right? Now the font the Bears use is a sort of rudimentary font that's custom for their jerseys. So I know I can't find 18. Now what I can do, and I like to do this. Okay, let's do Kyle Orton jersey. Kyle Orton jersey Bears. We're going to search Google for a Kyle Orton Bears jersey. What I want really is I want a game worn jersey, because I want someone to take the highest quality photo of a jersey ever taken. It's like, here's a jersey with 18. Let me open this image in new tabs. Zoom in. Can I go up here and change this anymore? What if I go like this? Alright, let me save this image to my downloads. We'll see what this looks like. Now, I could probably just find a Caleb Williams jersey at this right now. But we'll toss this in and see how small this is. See, like, this is really small. because this file's large. So let's find something else. Caleb Williams Bears jersey. The issue is if I look at images of this, it's going to be all stuff from like Fanatics that you can buy, and none of it is going to be stitched. Like this is stitched. Like this is stitched and nice. Oh look, a little late. Streams. Look, Akil, you're right there. We'll pull this over. We'll open up this, save image to tab. Let me see if I can find a larger version of this file. What happens if I go like that? That's not what I wanted. Oops. Oops, oops. Sorry, hold on. I'm trying to get this image as large as possible. Here's what I want to do. Let's get rid of Twitter so we don't have Twitter up here. Caleb Williams Bears jersey images. So I want an image like this or an image like this, but I want it to be huge. So I'm gonna save image. This is like taken indoors, a little bit blurry. I can go up here and kind of see if it's been tweaked. Like I can probably get rid of like this. Yeah, it doesn't do anything. Oh, and that's the thing too, is we didn't know what image, what number he was gonna have when he got drafted. That's why there aren't many photos of him wearing 18. So we'll go here. I'm gonna grab this photo I grabbed. This is a much bigger image. This is much better. All right, so we're gonna take this. We're gonna just throw this through Topaz Gigapixel and just see how good or bad it looks. But how big is this photo? This is at 75%, so at 100%, it would look like this, which is nice because that's kind of what we want. We're just gonna go overboard, and we're gonna just make it giant. Because how big is this original image? It's actually not that big. Only 1,200 pixels. But if I up this with AI, it looks so bad. Because it gets rid of like the stitching effect. This looks better. Okay, I'm gonna export this image. It might lag a little bit. We'll see how the integrity of the stream holds up to it. Oh, it's already done. Okay, good. Okay, so we're gonna grab this guy now. This is just a larger image of this. So we're gonna use the Quick Select tool. I'm sorry, we're gonna use the Quick Select tool.
Quick select.
And we're just gonna click around and select the 18. We'll probably grab his name too and do something with that. I just don't know what yet. Grab the orange, grab the orange. This is the whole thing. Great. I'm just going to do this. Copy, do not save, delete, paste. And I want this to be at 100%. Okay, so now we have these big old letters to use, big old numbers. So let's put these numbers behind front Caleb. I generally put things in all caps because if I don't, I'm going to just have some sort of weird camel case. It's going to look weird. Do we like this though? I don't think this adds to the design. What do you guys think in chat? You think this helps? I don't think this adds anything. What if we put it behind this? Yeah, I just don't know where I would put it. Sarge, I think I have a video on gradient maps. Bradley check design gradient map. I have a couple little videos on it. Basically, I use gradient maps. You can use those to change any color. I can give you just a quick rundown of that. I think I'm going to use the name instead of the numbers, Tyler. So we'll go here. We'll delete this layer mask. We'll go to image, reveal all. I'll show you what gradient maps does right now. or how I use them. So like a gradient map, what it does is it puts a map on top. It puts a gradient map on top of whatever's below it. And it's from right to left, dark to light. So if we take this dark color and change it to be dark green, and we change this lighter color and change it to be white, it's going to make our photo green and white. Now I'm going to set this to be black, and I'm going to keep the white on there. And you can move these around. And basically, this is location 22. It's out of 100. So if I go in here and I know the brightness is 22% bright out of 100, it's going to be in like a natural spot. What I can do is I can invert this layer mask. So let's say I use this for jersey swaps. Watch one of my jersey swap videos. But I can change the jersey color to be green. So if we wanted to make this like a Packers jersey, I could make it green. That's what I use gradient maps for. Now you could use like a hue and adjustment layer and stuff like that. You have a lot more capabilities with this. You can also add gradient maps and you can add as many colors of this as you want. So we could make just like a cool little design where it's, dark blue and then it jumps up to like a bear's orange sort of thing. And then the color is, this is a really bad color. Let me make this real orange. So if you see someone who makes a design and, kind of looks like this, they're using a gradient map to go from white to different colors. So what we're going to do now is we're going to select just the Williams part. So I have hotkeys set to my mouse as well to make this the brush larger or smaller, but I'm getting used to it because the configuration of where the button is a little bit different on this newer mouse. And we'll pop open another Coke. Magically out of nowhere. Okay. This is just really boring. I'm actually gonna have to go in and adjust this mask because it's gonna look bad. Okay, so I'm gonna go to selected mask. My smooth is set to 4, that's kind of fine. So for this, I'm gonna hit R to use this refine edge brush. And from my understanding, how this brush works is I have this plus sign. So there's a plus sign here. I'm gonna put it right on the edge of my object. It's gonna look on the inside and outside and determine where that actual line should be. So if it's on the inside and outside of this orange and dark color, it's gonna get rid of the dark and make it so there's a nice crisp line. Kind of like that. It's gonna go in a little bit too. So I can draw along the edge like this, wherever I think it needs to be fixed. And again, I can, oh, it's not working. You just draw lines, draw, draw, draw. This used to be called the extract tool in like 2006. I went to a Photoshop conference and the guy who actually invented Photoshop was there, which is kind of cool. But this is where I learned, they just introduced like the extract tool in like CS2 or CS3 or something like that. But that was cool. That was when I was in high school. I went to this Photoshop conference in, I think it was in Michigan. I went to Toledo and hung out there. I'm going to get rid of the smooth. So it's sort of these nice sharp edges. So we can get this Williams looking solid. But I can always go in here. And this might be kind of an easier way with the pen tool just because they are more straight lines. Williams is just all straight. So we'll just do this. And then that will be okay. Okay, we'll combine that, save it. We'll paste, oh, I didn't need to paste either because I saved it. So now it says Williams. And we can put that somewhere. Usually I would like rotate it and frame it in. Kind of like this. Blow it up. Do not like how it's doing that. Like usually I do something like this. It's nice, just up and down sort of thing. Let's turn our guides back on. I'm going to go to Edits, Puppet Warp, and we're going to Puppet Warp this. It's actually nice. It kind of puppet warped. It's puppet warping everything. But I'm going to take this W and move it up Just gonna line everything up a little bit better. It's not really puppet warp. This isn't really what puppet warp is used for. But it's gonna work for what I want. I'm gonna line everything up on this line. That way it's nice and straight. But I can take these and move these down so the top is just hitting this guide. That way they're all in a straight line. It's gonna look nice and neat. Puppet warp is really fun to use. You hit OK. Now it's a nice straight line of Williams. Easy peasy. But I can go into puppet warp and be like, okay, we want a point here, and a point here. This L kind of cuts in. It's not straight down. So I can move this point over a little bit. And now it's straight. Hit enter, enter. Sort of deal. What do you want? I don't want that. Oh yeah, the refine edge tool you can do for anything. It works really well for hair. It's basically anything that has really good contrast. The refine edge brush will work well. Okay, so we've got Williams here. It is... I'm gonna put it right here though, because it's getting blown out by this flare, but I don't want it to get blown out by this flare. And we're gonna make it a little bit larger. Kind of like that. And then the puppet warp's gonna jog its way back. Okay, so with this here, so I want to make sure this looks good when it's printed off, because it's kind of like it doesn't look too great. Really, it comes down to going back in and refining this. I'm gonna hide this because I don't know if I want this in here. Like, I really want this to be like just really clean. So we're gonna put his name down here, Caleb Williams, quarterback, yada yada. Let's take a look at our inspiration and just see a couple ideas for text. Now, a lot of these aren't gonna have text on them. You know, he's got Saquon New York Jets with his signature on there. We can put his signature on there. I really liked this one. We can zoom in here. We can also just go to Pinterest because that's where this is from. And a lot of this stuff's popping up, which is good. I want to see if we can find that Amir Abdullah graphic quickly. Amir Abdullah design. You can't find anything? Did I spell his name wrong? Amir Abdullah. Amir Abdullah. Amir? Yeah. Oh, hey, Seth. No, it says right here. Amir Abdullah. Why don't you make a line under his name in the graphic for location? Yeah, I'm gonna have a place for them to sign. It's just, what is it gonna look like? Seth, how are things down in Cincinnati? I like these stickers. Killing it. Killing it just south of me. Okay, so I'm gonna just type out Williams. Oh no, let's use, okay, we'll use his name here. Man, I hate this. So here's a thing. It keeps giving me this bounding box. But if I turn this into a smart object, it's not going to give me that big bounding. It's not going to give me... Convert to smart object. Not going to give me that big bounding box anymore. It's going to give me this stupid box. Hold on. I'll just do it this way. Are you doing client revisions for where you work? Is the client not your job? Is Chris Collinsworth giving you too much work to do? We need this to... Oh, yeah, that's right. You're doing NBA stuff, too. Yeah, I kind of wish I did that, because I'm streaming right now, when I could be doing NBA things. Is that going well, though? I assume they're keeping you busy. I think that's cool to do. NBA stuff. We'll put Williams here, except this is inside of this, which is not what I want. I want it to be behind this leg. The logo I'm going to drop down. So it's like this. Okay. So now we're going to put Caleb down. Caleb down here somewhere. Caleb. Okay. What font do we want to do? A lot of YouTube thumbnail stuff. Oh, Collinsworth gave you. Oh, what a stand-up guy. I do not like Chris Collinsworth in this household. For very obvious reasons. Nobody loves Patrick Mahomes more than Chris Collinsworth. Okay, so I'm going to go in with this in here. Now, here's a guy that you're going to see off. Yeah. Now, here's a guy. I'm about to yell. Now, here's a guy so loud. So I'm going to go in here and just adjust this a little bit. One thing I found out, too, is, which is kind of nice, is if you have something where you think you might have some, like, transparent spots in the middle, you can always just duplicate everything. So I can just take this, group it together, and just duplicate it. And then it's just like, here you go. So I'm going to do that. Group these together. Select this. Select, modify, contract 1 pixel again. And then this should theoretically get rid of all of that fuzzy stuff. I'm also going to give this a bevel and an emboss to accentuate its own bevel and emboss. So it's going to be an inner bevel. I want the overlay to be 50. Multiply is fine, but I want the multiply to be like orange. Which is good. Off, on, off, on. Why does it look so bad? Because I want the direction to be up. I want the size to be like 1. I don't want it to be a half round. I want it to be like that. Or do I just want it to be linear? I might just want it to be linear. Let's do a depth of like 400. Go like this. Okay, cool. Like there's some funky spots in here that like it's just really bugging me. And I need to fix it. I'm gonna group these together. And this is where like a lot of times you want to spend time cutting stuff out so it looks the best that it can be. You know, like this looks kind of shoddy. And this is where just using the polygonal lasso tool would just be like, oh, here you go. Click, line, gone. Click, line, gone. I could go into, usually what I was going to do is go in with the stamp tool and stamp out a lot of this, like the edges. That's usually what I would do. But I want to get back to like how this looks and not like cutting crap out. But we didn't think about doing this until we're already here. But that's, you know, the process. I hope by the end of the season, Chris Collinsworth loves Caleb Williams as much as he loves Aaron Rodgers. That's why I don't like him. That dude loves Aaron Rodgers. Who's only won 1 Super Bowl and can't get his team past the NFC Championship. The only time he's won an NFC Championship was against 2 backup quarterbacks for the Chicago Bears. It's the only reason he has a Super Bowl. Just fun fact. And those are just facts. Like I'm just saying, unbiased opinion. Okay. Caleb Williams, I kind of want to give this a little bit of a shadow. So I'm going to duplicate this layer, and I have this thing, and I'm probably going to change it. I have this black shadow thing, which basically turns into a shadow. Beat Jay Cutler a couple of times as well in the regular season. Yeah, but when it comes down to the NFC Championship game, was it 2011 NFC Championship game? 2012. Nope. When was that? 2010? Yeah. Let's take a look at this. The NFC Championship game where they won 21-14 against the Chicago Bears. Let's see. Oh, you played against Caleb Haney, who had 14 attempts and got hurt. And then you played you played Jay Cutler for 14 attempts. And then you had Caleb Haney play the rest of the game and beat Caleb Haney. Devin Hester did play in that game, though. So, you know, that's good. Everybody misses Jay Cutler, Tyler. I actually saw someone said... Why does that look so weird? Hold on. Oops. Zoom in. It should line up perfectly. Why doesn't it line up? I don't know. Okay, we're gonna do this. Okay. I had a guy who just met Jay Cutler, actually, on Facebook. Got something signed by him. Pretty nice. Okay, so we're gonna give this a black color overlay. So we're going to do a color overlay. We're going to make it black. I'm gonna hide this top layer so it looks like this. We're going to blur this just a little bit. We're gonna blur it 3 pixels. We're going to then go to the blur gallery, go to path blur, which is going to pop up here. So there's a blur here. We're gonna delete that. We want it to blur top to bottom. So we're gonna click and draw a new line, top to bottom, hit enter. We don't want it to be a centered blur. We want it to be a blur that starts and stops at the bottom, kind of like this. Now I want it to be down more. And there's some other stuff we can do up here, but that's pretty good. Speed of 50 is fine. So I'm gonna hit enter a couple times. We're actually gonna take this blur gallery and duplicate it again. So it does the exact same thing. So we're gonna go to blur gallery. We're gonna blur it 100. And I'm just kind of guessing these numbers. I don't remember what the best numbers to do are. We'll do 100. And there's some effects you can do in here, but it's not for path blur. We can't do that. Do I want to taper this one? I might want to taper this one just a little bit. Let's taper it 50. I don't know. Yeah, it looks fine. And then set that to be like 75% or 100%. Maybe not. Maybe that other blur gallery doesn't work too well. But the idea behind this is make it seem like it's sort of like floating on a wall, but not really. Just like a slight blur that fades away. Gives it a little bit of texture. Maybe we set it to like 90%. Maybe we hate it and we get rid of it. You know, there's no rules. We can do whatever we want. Okay, so we're going to make Caleb larger. So we have this nice tall text. We want Caleb to be wider. We're going to make Caleb big enough so we can see it. Maybe we put it here. And then down here we put quarterback, Chicago Bears, buttons, number 18. I don't know. We're going to set this to be like 25%. Why did that happen? Oh, this is cool. So this doesn't have like regular punctuation. It has this kind of punctuation. Alright, so we're going to make this a lot smaller. And I don't love how this text looks. I'm trying to think of how I can tweak it. We're gonna use a different font first off. I don't know what font the Bears use. They use something weird. I'm gonna go wide. I'm gonna use something wide. Do we just hit the default button and use Druck? Or rock grotesque. Rock grotesque is a little too cute. It'd be fun if we used what the Packers use on this graphic. Use Tusker grotesque, which is what the Packers use on some of their graphics. That'd be humorous. Let's just use Druck. It's just like, we really want to sell how this is. We're going to do something different with the text because I want to. And I can show you guys something cool. So Caleb's there. We'll change this to Williams. We're going to use yearbook. Stop at yearbook. They actually have an outline regular and a solid. So we're going to take that, we're going to duplicate it and change this to be yearbook outline. And we're going to make this C8038B3. Nah, what is it? It's something close to that. I need to memorize this. There's hex code. C8383. It's 8383. Okay. Chicago 8383. See, like you would think that this would line up. Optical. Like you would just think these would line up, but they don't. I'm gonna take this top one, get rid of it. I'm going to right click this and turn this into a shape. That way I can stretch out some of these letters. Kind of like this. Now I might take this A and stretch it back up like this, and then take this and do that. So now this is Williams, which is good. I don't want this to be too large because I kind of want it framed in here. So we have Caleb Williams. We need to fix the W though on Williams. I think that looks a little bit better. Okay, so we'll take this, drop this down. What we're doing now with the text is we're trying to find contrast. So we're doing that with contrast of size. We're doing that with contrast of just font itself. I actually don't like how where's tungsten at? Tungsten's too thick. Nope, we're gonna use a default. I just love Termina. It's just a great font. I don't think it's wide enough though. That's better. It was just too thick. We'll do 330. Now it says Caleb Williams. Great. We have this in our back pocket if we wanted to do something with it. I think we might though. I'm like changing my mind. Let's see what something looks like real quick. So with his name, we can take his name. I'm going to make a selection from his name. I'm going to go to the paths and I'm going to make a work path from a selection. So I'm going to make a new layer. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this selection, select modify. I'm going to contract 3 pixels. On this new layer with this color selected, I have brushes. I have, where are they? Stitch brushes. So these are stitching brushes that look like stitches. Yeah, we're probably gonna go back to the old text. I want to see what this looks like though. So I can go in here and take like this and make it 6 pixels. And then over here, if we go to paths, I can click something. I should be able to do this. Paths. Oh, I need to make a new working path. I take this working path and I can make a stroke with that working path. So now I have my own sort of text stitching. But it looks kind of janky. So yeah, we'll pull this back up, go like this. What do we got? What do we got looking like here? Let me delete this work path so it goes away. Okay, so we have Caleb. I'm gonna put Caleb here. So it lines up with the I. No, I'm not. I'm gonna put it over here and make it really teeny tiny. Shrink it down. Kind of like that. Maybe we make it a fill of 0 even and give this a stroke. 2-point stroke, white. Outside, center. Center, 3. 3's too much. 2. Just want to make sure we can see this. Make it 440. We're gonna fill 100. Fill it up 100. Let's go back here and just see what this looks like all encompassing. Oops. Caleb Williams, quarterback. Make this Druck as well. Druck. Druck heavy, just make it all caps. Oh, you know what? I was hitting the wrong button before. That's why I thought I was doing something funky. Yeah, I was hitting Option instead of Shift for some reason, which is kind of weird. Okay, I need to get rid of my action so I can see what the hell I'm doing. Okay, put this here. We grab this, this, and this. This is all one group now. We're just going to make this all a little bit smaller. Okay. So we go down here. We grab this quarterback. See how it's not like fully lined up? Just seems a little weird. Oh, it's straighter. Take this. We'll give this 220. Make it like 7 points. Ooh, don't want to do that. I want this to be optical. Quarterback, Chicago Bears, number 18. We can duplicate this, make this text black, and give it the exact same smart filters. So it has its own same shadow. But I think since, oh, so yeah, you see here, it's giving it the same blur, but the blur's nothing. It's blurring it nothing to nothing when we want it to blur straight up and down. We're just gonna have to change it from like 1 billion to like 6. So the speed is 50, you want the speed to be like 10. Yeah. And we make the same speed here. Is this going the same weird no way? Yeah. It's really weird when you apply path blurs. You assume they're going to go the exact same way, and then they're just like, nah, we're good. We're just going to do whatever we want. What is this? Set to 100? Yeah, it looks terrible. Let's make it 20. See, even 20 is probably too much. But we can set this to like 50% or something like that. It's not going to be perfect. Set it back to 100. Let's just get rid of it, because the other one we got rid of it, right? It's just going to be like that. Caleb. Put Caleb here. Yeah, I think we're going to do this. I like the idea of putting a line here. Kind of like this. So the line's going to have a stroke of nothing. It's going to have a fill of this. I'm going to move this over. And I don't like the line tool in Photoshop, because it doesn't do what I think it should do. And this is why we might get rid of that sort of thing. So let's go to our inspiration, because I think they have a couple. I know Ohio State did this, and I assume then the guys who helped at Ohio State that went to help USC did that too, but something like this. Oh, Springfield, Ohio, that's cool. But a line for him to sign. So then it's an intentional area for him to put his signature. But what do those look like? You know? I can go to Safari. I can go to Pinterest. Actually, let me just go to Behance. I go to Pinterest and I can just search up Sammy Silverman and just find what I'm looking for. Of course, I can't do that. I have to people. Samuel Silverman. Yeah, it would be like a line with an X. I'm really overthinking it. I feel like they did that in here somewhere. It's, what does the X look like though then? Is the X something in particular? You know, is it something huge and fat? Do we make it look like this? Do we go truck heavy? And then we take it and give it a fill of nothing, and then we give this a stroke. Kind of like that. But then we go make it like bold italic. You know, like that. And we take this and we go here and we put here, you know, sign here or something like that. Then we go Druck, medium italic, and we center the text. We get rid of this top part here. Or we just have the X there. But if the X is there, then this line is way too thick. I don't think a cursive X is going to look good. Like a signed X. We really just put a line here. It really doesn't matter. Something more modular where we put it like in a box would be good. I honestly am not feeling how this text looks right now. I think it's this. I don't think I like this. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to hide this for now. Line with the X is what we're going with. We're going to take a box. We're going to take a box. We're going to put a box. Okay. We're going to rotate that for no reason. We're going to make a box like this. This is going to be like this. We're going to set it to multiply. And we're going to have it fade out this way. We're going to put it right here. We're going to slim it down. That's just underneath his beard. We're going to take this X, we're going to put it on top of that. We're going to make this X huge. Okay, let's go to Pinterest. See what Pinterest has to say. Pinterest. Sign here. Athletics. Whatever, you'll figure it out. Nothing. Terrible. I need to look up a contract. A designed contract. What the hell is this? Signed. Athletics. What is Pinterest on right now? Signed contract. Sports. Let me just go to my pins. All pins. Yeah, like this. Yeah, here you go. This is a good example. Just a place to sign. And I think having something like this where it's got his name and stuff next to it is the play. Okay, I want to just click on this line, move it down to here. We're gonna duplicate this, which is kind of pointless. But it's not pointless because we can't see it because of the thing. So we'll do this. Okay, so we've got this sort of line area. This is what it's looking like. We don't need this big line. Yeah, little line like that. Okay, good. This line's too thick. We need the height to be like 50. Okay, so we'll take this line, we'll put this here. Should we make the line dotted? We should probably make it dotted. I think that's the actual play. So we'll make it a dashed line. Stroke of 5. Kind of like this. Put this X here. Put the X back. But the X is set to overlay. Just make it. Maybe we don't make it stroked. Maybe we make it 100%. Kind of like that. We just make it lighter. Lighter might be it. Let me just pull up Terminate again. Maybe make it normal. Set this to normal. We don't need a stroke on this anymore. Just a really small X now. Get out of here. Kind of like this. And then underneath we write Caleb Williams. And we'll use a dot. Quarterback dot Chicago Bears. Now you can't see anything I'm doing because the text is so spread out. This is when we go back to Druck. Wide, thick, 5-point font. Spread out. It's too thick. Also spelled Chicago wrong. We take this line, put it here. I need these, sorry, first I need these to just align. That's better. That's gonna cost me a lot of headaches. Do like this. There we go. Okay, all this crap's lined up now. Everything, let's line everything up. That's better. Okay, we want a nice big old spot for him to sign, kind of like that. Take these and just go like this. What do we got here? Delete this. Delete. Delete. This. Okay, I'm trying to click on stuff and it's just like, nope. Okay. This is too thick. I want this to be dashed more. Yeah. 4 dash, 4 dash. Drop, drop. Drop, drop. This text I'm not sold on anymore. Let's just use Dharma Gothic. Brad's favorite font that ever existed of all existing of all fonts. Drop this down to like 55 now, make it a little bit larger. Is this the font I used on this? I don't know what that is. Caleb Williams, quarterback, Chicago Bears. Cool. Now, to me, it doesn't make sense that it's slanted because nothing else is slanted. So maybe that's why we put in... something like this. But it's masked, like in a box. I used the wrong button. So we'll go here, grab this, move this over like this, grab this. We'll delete this, put this here. And then just move this over slightly. So it's kind of like a hash box. It's like hashed out, but it's not. What's up, Josh? Thanks for joining in live. We're sort of towards the tail end, but there's a lot of stuff we can do with this. I don't know how sold I am on this being finished either, but probably only got like another 20 minutes to stream. Just because I've been on here for a while. It's been like 3 hours. Let's do distance 5 and none. Let's put this at 135. One thing we can do, make it less harsh, is we just give it this background color. But it doesn't look good here. Black, what if we do overlay? Overlay kind of works, but it's still a little dark. Again, still not sold. But now we can delete this layer mask because we don't want it anymore. We just want to line up Caleb Williams. I am so indecisive on what this font should be. Like, do we just go back to yearbook, you know? Make it really collegiate looking. Or, what does Dave do here? See what he does there. It's more like a mono font. Doesn't look bad. Something kind of like this. But then what do we put underneath here? Quarterback, Chicago Bears. Put down here. Like bear down. Beard down. Jesus Christ. And make this like 5. It's like a ticket. Set it to overlay. You don't really see it. We have this whole thing now. Yeah, this whole big area. This is where he's theoretically going to sign this. This is where we go, hey Caleb. Sign right here. This is where you need to sign. And that lines up right here with this line, which is kind of fine. But we're actually going to take this logo. We're going to put it down like here. Maybe blow it up a little bit. Something like that. Okay, so we're going to get a photo of his signature just to show what it should look like at the end. So Caleb Williams Auto. I didn't type that at all. Ed Williams also. Caleb Williams Auto. Whatever. Okie dokie. This is probably a good one. Okay, so we are going to just download this image and bloop. Toss it on here like this. We're going to invert it, set it to screen, and then this is again where I use a gradient map.
Gradient map.
That way I can make this super contrasty. I'm going to put this on top so you can see what we're talking about. So I want it to just be the logo here. So I drag the black over, drag the white over. And I don't know what what color marker they would use. But, you know, I would say, hey, use white or something like that. I don't want to smart object this yet, because I don't think this is the full size. I guess it is the full size, isn't it? Just make this a lot larger. Basically, like, boom, sign right here in white or in silver. We'll have it look silver. How do we do that? How do we want to do this? We'll go to bridge, we'll go to my assets, we'll go to my BJD card stuff. That's BJD stuff. BJD card stuff. I mean, it's in this mega pack, so it should be fine. Blah, 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 blah. Silver, 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 silver. Nope, not in here. Palo pack 2. There you go. There's some like silver leaf stuff. We're just gonna kind of BS into being some sort of marker. Kinda, not really, but kind of. Oh, but look, it's covering up the whole thing, so that's a problem and looks terrible, right? Okay, well, we have a solution for that. It's called combine these together and say if the current layer is black or more, get rid of it. Set this to overlay. I think I need to blur these. We're going to take this, we're going to give this a bevel and emboss. 100. We want this to be black. And we want this to be screen. Do 100% and 100%. Do 50. Size 10? Oh, okay. Then we want this to be 50 then as well. So you would sign it kind of like this. Wouldn't really look like this, actually. Let's change the bevel and emboss to be a little bit less. What I could do, I take this filter. Is it gonna let me liquefy or is it gonna be busted? No. Oh, no, no, no. I can go to filter, liquefy. I want to show image. Can I overlay this? I thought I should be able to show this with show backdrop. Yeah. So I can go down here and I can just take this, which is the smear sort of brush, and smear it to make it look like it's a signature. Kind of like this. Williams number. I gotta change the 13 to be an 8, but we can do that in a sec. Liquefy this just the same. So I can take this, I can go to filter, blur this. We'll Gaussian blur this like 15. so it looks like ugh. Ugh. Looks terrible. We need to fix this though. Group together, duplicate, mask this out, except for okay, I'm hitting a lot of buttons because I'm kind of rushing. Paint this back in, duplicate this, flip it around like this, set to screen, and then just kind of do one of these. This is where we go to file, or this is where we go to edit, puppet warp. And we go boop, 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 boop. We go, okay, I want this to be here. I want this to be down here like this, and then this guy to come down like this. And we're just gonna fake a little 8, and like that. And then we just go like this, and we remove this bottom part. Like that. Save, go back. Remember all this cool stuff we talked about? Now it says 18. Look at that. Okay, I do need to blur this, but I think I need to blur it like... Let me motion blur it, actually. Kind of like this. See how bad that looks. Doesn't really matter. We're just like kind of being like, oh, this is what it's gonna look like. I think the bevel and emboss is too much. Whatever. This is what it would look like signed. Just do it in white. It'll look better in white. Sign it in white. Problem solved. Why does that look weird? Ah, because this can go to screen now. Okay, so if he signs it in white, it'll look like this. Caleb Williams, quarterback, Chicago Bears. We can... Man, we've spent like an hour just talking about like text. What do you guys think of this? I think we need to add some stuff back into it. Like, do we need to add this back somewhere? Like, is Williams back here? But it's like a color overlay of like white with no bevel and emboss. So it's kind of like this. It says Williams, but we do a color overlay of just, we don't do a color overlay, we invert it and set it to screen, so it's like that. We give it a gradient map, and the gradient map just makes it black and white, so then it has a nice white layer up here. We go like that, so it says Caleb Williams. So if we take away the signature, it looks like that. Kind of ghosted. Could puppet warp the Williams text and sit behind his head in the middle of the image. Like have it here or something like that. You know what we can do is we have one building here. I think we can add in a couple Chicago things here and then sort of call it a day. I'm gonna set this to normal, because I want it to be like this. I like how this looks better now. We'll do this so we use the Williams text so it looks cool. So here's, do we just put Sears Tower right here? Because we have it here, we put it here, that'll fit, or just like Chicago skyline. Chicago buildings. Chico buildings. I spelled it wrong again. It'll figure it out. Yeah, Chicago buildings. Okay. Willis Tower. I'm probably gonna have to find better images of Willis Tower here. I'm going to find something real quick. Shoot. Maybe not. Hold on. I think I can open this. I might put Soldier Field up there. TBD. TBD the musical. The improv musical. God, these look cool. These look so cool. This project was so fun. What is this? It's explosive fields? No? Okay. Do not save. We don't need that. What is this? This is going to be explosive ball carrier. Right, but there's no... Why is it pulling up when I type in soldier? I was trying to find my Charles Tillman graphic because it has a photo of Soldier Field that I cut out already. I think it's on a hard drive, but I don't want to go get it. Soldier Field. I thought I had images on my server, and it should find images of Soldier Field. Soldier. I'm gonna have this look a little bit on here. Do we have another image of Caleb we can put over there? You know, do we just put this image here? One here, one here. You know, put an image of Caleb here, and then grab like this image and like put him here. So it's like a threefer. That actually might not look bad. It might look pretty solid. It's just, do we put it above or below the flare like this? I think we're gonna add 2 more photos of Caleb in this. I think that'll look nice. Let me just hit select subject. We'll see what this does. I don't like the quality of this image, but we're using it. And it's going to be small, so it'll be fine. Honestly, there were like 8 photos of Caleb Williams that were pretty solid from the preseason game, so beggars can't be choosers. Basically limited to what photos people use to talk about articles of this. Theoretically, if we had Getty access, we'd use whatever photos Getty had or AP, but we do not have that, do we? No, we do not. Okay. Refine edge, great, good. Get rid of that. We'll add this back. Sometimes this flickers a lot, and I don't really like it. I don't know if it's because I'm streaming or what. We'll do this, do that. I think he's going to be covered up. It's really like, what is his elbow going to look like? Elbow, 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 elbow. Elbow, 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 elbow. Up, 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 up. What does that look like? Oh yeah, see? We're gonna take this guy and go whoop. Just kind of do this and make him a little bit, just a teeny bit smaller. So these guys are like the same size. Yeah, that looks good. You know what we can do then too is we can take the 18 we got rid of, which doesn't exist anymore, and like put it right here, but it's fine. What does my phone want? What do you guys think of this? I think this looks pretty solid. We might make him bigger than down here. We can take one of these files. Top Caleb, yes. And this, and just make all of these. Nope, that's what I thought. Because that's top Caleb. I need to move this. This should move all of them though, but it's not moving the layers, which is fine. Front Caleb, here we go. Okay, this, and this, and this. Just make him a little bit larger. So he fills up a little bit more of this space now. Kind of like that. Let me take this Caleb, which is, I don't know, this guy. Here we go. Put him here. Take this Caleb, put him here. Take take these guys, copy, paste, paste. Okay, delete layer mask, invert, gone, gone, gone. We're almost done. Select, modify, subtract 1 pixel, delete, invert that. 3.5, apply that here. Or is it here? Screen. Are these both screen? Color dodge. Okay. What was that? That was weird. Okay. Maybe we just do this. Do that. Set this to color dodge. Set this to screen. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Delete this. Get out of here. Select this. Select, modify, subtract. 1 pixel. Delete. There we go. Invert 3.5. Oh shoot. I deleted it. Invert 3.5. Apply that to this, take this and set this to be color dodge for some reason. I don't know, it all looks pretty solid to me. Caleb Williams is a new QB1. Okay, cool. This, I think, is sort of where we're hitting the final end of how this is going to look. Like this. It's pretty much going to look like this. I'm going to duplicate this and just put this on top again. So we have a little bit more of a light shining on here. Duplicate this and hit delete. Put this on top. Yep, do not like that lens dirt. Let's grab back over here. Let's go to my assets. Let's go to stock images. Let's go to lens dirts. Lens dirts. There they are. I just like to make a fat lens dirt like 4. Jump this up, set this to screen, put it like that. But then we're gonna go here to this lens dirt and we're gonna give it its own color look up of warm candlelight or soft warming. I think it's candlelight. Apply that to this. Set this to 5. And I think that's it. I think we're good. It's been like what, 3.5 hours? 3 hours? I think 3 hours is pretty solid. What do you guys think? Think we can fix something, or what would you change? I don't know if I like this lens dirt on here. I'm actually gonna get rid of that. How's this look? That's kind of fine. Let's do this. Looks dope. Looks dope. Always works. So I'm going to save this, and then we're going to go to image, and we're going to duplicate this, which is going to create a whole new file. And then we're going to take this file, and we're going to make it 16 by 20. I'm going to do one slight thing to this. So when it prints it out, it kind of supplements and makes up for some stuff. This is going to make everything bigger. We're using smart objects for everything, so nothing's going to get pixelated, so it's completely fine. I'm just going to add a halftone to this to give it sort of a printed look already, and then when they print it, it's going to look even more printed, and it's going to look cool. The one thing I could have done was like accentuate a little bit of the blue coming back in. I'm not completely sold on the text, but what are you going to do, you know? Spend 3 hours. What I should have done was converted this to one big giant smart object, because that's to render all of the filters we put on there. It's probably going to break a couple things. Did you guys enjoy the stream? I'm going to try and do these more often. It really just depends on my wife's schedule, so I can work around hers. I am starting to teach again in a couple weeks. But I might be able to still do these. I enjoy doing them. I usually use these to create like sports car designs, which is cool. But nice long streams like this are really nice to do. Because when I was doing my other streams before, it was only like 90 minutes. And you can do a lot in 90 minutes. But you can do a lot more in 3 hours. I feel like Photoshop might have broken. Yeah, Photoshop broke. Good thing I know that you can do this. You say do not respond, and then it like kind of works sometimes. Let's get rid of Illustrator. Let's get rid of Bridge. I need some of this other stuff open so I can stream. Or we force quit out of Photoshop. That also works too. Because we saved it right beforehand. So yeah, that's why we save before we do stuff like this. Because stuff's going to break. So Photoshop open up again. I'm gonna add one more thing to this, but then we're gonna be pretty much done. Okay, let's do this. Let's go to image. It shouldn't matter. Image duplicate. I'm gonna make a new copy of this. I'm gonna go to attribute, and I'm gonna go to not visible. Because all of this stuff we're not using, so I can literally delete it. And if this is the top layer, technically we can just go like this and combine everything together into one layer. Just do that. Just yeah. Turn that to a smart object. Then we'll turn this and we'll make this a little bit larger, which is gonna degrade the quality a teeny bit, but not really because it was kind of fine. I'm gonna duplicate this. Go into here, filter, pixelate, color halftone. I'm gonna do it at a radius of 4. Which looks like this. But first what I want to do is make this larger. Percent. 300% is big. Then go to filter and then go to noise. Pixelate color halftone 4. Look like that. Save. Go back here. Take this top layer then and make it 33%. Oh god. 160 divided by 3. Good. And then set this to luminosity. Whoops. Whoops. It's not what I wanted though. Shoot. I'm going to copy this and go back a bunch. And now paste it and set it to luminosity. And set it to like 50%. So it's just going to give it a little bit of, instead of like grain, it's giving it just a little bit of texture. So then we combine this together, or we'll do this. And we'll go to image mode CMYK. Do not rasterize the image. Now it's CMYK. So now it will print correctly into CMYK. And it should print a little bit darker than this, which is kind of what we want. Which because you can see it's RGB CMYK, RGB CMYK. Less sexy, but that's what we want. Caleb Williams, 16 by 20 to print. Great. All right, so we have this one. I will save this out and post it on social, and we are all done for the day. So thank you guys for joining me along on this wonderful journey with Caleb Williams, my new quarterback one, even though I love Justin Fields. I will see you guys next time. Hopefully I can see you guys then. If you have any suggestions for streams or what you want to see, feel free to let me know on any of my socials. They are right there. Bradley Jack Design on Twitter and Instagram. Check out my portfolio if you want. Hit me up on Twitter. If you haven't, make sure you like and subscribe, of course. And until then, I will see you guys